Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who were there last night or have watched the VOD, you're probably wondering, why isn't this like a super short VOD finishing things up? Well, yeah, so last night, I obviously did hang out with my family quite a bit. It was good. It was actually a really good hangout. I was quite happy with everything. And, but what if you did make them Evo? See, I hung out with the family for a bit, which was awesome. But when I say for a bit, I mean I didn't get back until like 8 minutes before when I would normally cut off stream. And I have 4 missions left to go. Even if I mega cheated, that just is not enough time to go through the missions. Like, not even enough time to watch the cutscenes of the missions. Even if we turbo mega cheated, which I really don't want to do. And then we would have to do the audit, and then we'd have to do... And it's just, alright, fine. So, I said, screw it. And moved on. So, now we're going to do the hardest mission in the game. I want to explain a little bit why this is. So, just a quick refresher. We have kidnapped Rashigal, and she's convinced Zeratul to help us kill the Overmind. Cool. That's all you need to know. Let's jump into this. I want you to see this, though. I want you to understand why this mission sucks. So we start off with a seemingly well-defensible position, but actually, no, it's pretty weak, with multiple entries into the base from both air and ground. Then, based just how pathfinding works, we've got the orange micro base over here, which is building up while we're going, and the white micro base up here, which is building up immediately. As you can see, both of them will attack vector through this area. What do you see up this area? Oh, that's right, a bunch of Protoss buildings. You have no probes. You cannot replace these units. If you lose your ability to make Dark Templars, you lose the mission. You require Dark Templars to kill the Overmind, even though that arguably doesn't make sense. So, they give us kind of a crap base, immediately surround us, and then they make it so that they push our biggest weak point right out up front. But hang on, I'm not quite done, because there's actually the real white base, which you'll notice is a combo Zerg Terran base, and the real orange base, and then the defended white base, which is up here. You'll also notice all of these are combo Terran Zerg, every single one of these. If you don't understand what that means, they have... You see how we have 2 food pops right there? We've got Protoss and Zerg food, and they don't cross over. We showed that off during the Dark Archon mission. So, they have 400 food to work with per side, and they do. They know exactly how to cross their 2 sides into each other to the point where they can efficiently use a combined mixed arms force of Terran and Zerg. So, they're like turbo cheating and are using all of the advantages against us in a bad position while our weak point, which if we lose the game again. So binary difficulty. And we have to push through all of this nonsense to get up here, and then we have to kill the Overmind with Dark Templars. So I'm going to make one solid go of this. Just one serious attempt to go ahead and make this work. And then we're gonna cheat, because I don't honestly think I can do this. I really don't. This is a brutal mission. I'm not sure if it's good brutal or bad brutal, but it's definitely brutal. I have done this mission legit. I have played through this entire game without cheats. I'll tell you exactly what it took. It took a lot of time. So the Protoss are our hero units for the map, so they need to be defended at all costs. Yeah, a lot of people wonder why there's no Dagoth, for example, or New Overmind, or the other broods that are part of the title. Oh yeah, we also finally get Devourers, our last new unit for the game. I actually have turned it down slightly, Blade Chaval, but I know people are bothered when we turn it down super far, so I'm not going to turn it down super far. I don't want to literally make the stream worse just so I can do my job better. I don't know, Evo. So let's talk about Devourers briefly. They have a 25 damage attack, decent armor, decent health. I don't think we can even make them. They also mutate from Mutalisks, just like Guardians do. And they have another feature. I don't even remember. I don't use Devourers. I'm just going to admit that. Because, yes, I did, Walker. Thank you for asking. Devourers, I know they have an extra thing. Which I'm looking up here. Yeah, they can only attack air, just like the other area. And it's the Valkyrie, the Corsair, and the Devourer are all anti-air only. Once again, you really feel that the anti-air focus of Brood War. There it is, the Acid Spores. Right. So what the Acid Spores do is they reveal the unit if they were cloaked. They slow down the attack speed of the target that's being spored, and they take an additional bit of damage from every additional spore attack. This stacks up to 9 times. So, Devourers kind of escalate pretty badly, which sounds good until you realize that Devourers do 25 damage per, and you're probably going to mass them, which means you're never going to get the full 9 stacks on anything until it's already dead. Like, just nothing has the kind of health to justify that. I'm not saying Devourers are bad, but they're also kind of pricey. So in addition to the base Mutalisk, which is 100 minerals and 100 gas, they cost 150 minerals and 50 gas. That's 250 minerals and 150 gas and 2 food in order to get an anti-air only unit. It pretty much runs into the exact same problem as the Valkyrie. They are very expensive for being extremely niche. They're good at what they do. A proper Devourer group will absolutely destroy a carrier rush or a cruiser rush. But that's pretty much the usefulness of a Devourer group in a nutshell. Now, I need to scooch this up here. Get some gas going. We could try to do something stupid. Let's try to do something stupid, just for the hell of it. Because I know we have an expansion spot up north we can expand into pretty much immediately. We don't have much of an initial force, though. We might be able to grab this. Nope. Okay, that's cool. Thought I'd try. Alright, so we're going to hold back for a minute. We do have the Dark Templars. I guess we could? No, absolutely, Billy Chaval. You remember we were talking about FF11 last night? Good core, bad implementation. That's Brood War in a well, rather Starcraft 1 in a nutshell. It's really easy to see why this game took off the way it did. But of course, they instantly and perfectly reveal the Dark Templars. Whatever, we got rid of the tank. This might actually work out. Unless we get attacked from behind, that would be terrible. Okay. Decided to pull a twofer on me. Well, that's, yep, okay. So that still didn't work. Okay, that's okay. We might be able to micro that to victory, but let's not. It would also leave us completely defenseless. Okay. that attack wave that I totally didn't know was coming. Causing way more damage than I'd like to admit. 8! Oh my god, you're right. We only get 8 Dark Templars for this mission. Okay. No we don't. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and pull the Dark Templars into this nonsense. You're now defending us, Dark Templars. Okay. We have to mute it. There is no other option for a map like this. But we don't have to mute it immediately. So let's do this. There it is. My entire Zerg force was just spent defending. I really just don't care at this point, if you'll forgive me for being blunt. Like I said, I'll put in my due diligence because it's my gerb. But at this point, if we lose this mission, whatever. This mission can go directly to hell. Hey, Crazy Norse. Oops. It's technically a waste of resources, but not by as much as you'd think. It increases your throughput of spent resources, but it also increases your throughput of gaining tech, which is the whole point of doing it. Come on. There you go. Yeah, I see you down there. Admittedly, I have no idea what the competitive scene is like in 2, and I never will. So we'll see, I suppose. Yeah, we sort of... Oh my god, we need to expand extraordinarily quickly. Which is funny, because we're currently undergunned from 2 separate superior forces. You know, I haven't really been keeping track of how Brood War's been faring compared to, say, Vanilla. So I don't know the exact comparison points. After 1 upgrade, I think I'm going to make another push on one of those bases. Need more minerals. You. Let's make a scouting push, see what happens. I think I could see why people would like Vanilla more. Historically, I always preferred Brood War, but I think that's just because it does more right, even though it also does more wrong. Favorite character from Starcraft 1? It's actually a tough question. My obvious answer is Mengsk. But I'm still... Let me think about that for a minute. actually didn't realize I could just walk up there. Get back here, Hydralisk. Yeah, Raynor, Mengsk, and I know you're going to look at me weird. Aldaris are probably my go-to picks for my favorite characters in Starcraft 1. Not necessarily in that order, just, you know, in general. Hey, Zach Teft. I mean, a whole lot of Warcraft's story boils down to us slowly removing pieces from the board. Not even in a bad way. It's just, you know, it's a war series. So, that happens, right? I think it's just because I haven't been policing the chat as much as I should be, and that is my fault, and I apologize. That's pretty much the reason for that. Actually, no, cancel. Get up there. It's only a pittance, but it's more Vespine, if nothing else, and Lord knows we need that. I do have a Discord, but unfortunately, thanks to recent Twitch changes, I'm physically incapable of sending you an invite to it. So once my mod pops in, assuming she pops in today, she can help you out with that. You're gonna have to explain where you're seeing this human face here. I don't see a human face. And yeah, we do tend to compare units to, we do tend to compare units to StarCraft 2's equivalents for, honestly, pretty obvious reasons. And I do apologize for that. Like I said, I'm trying to talk about 2 as little as possible at this point. So, I can't send whispers, because Twitch requires me to attach a phone to my account to send whispers. And I'm never doing that. So, I can't send whispers, and I'm not just going to send a public Discord invite. That's insanity. So, I can't send invites. I have been restricted from invitering. Can I still receive whispers? You know, actually, I'm not sure. I haven't since that started being a thing. I have no idea, Eva. I know Bragwin can still send whispers because she's who does my invites for me. She's cool like that. Yeah, so let's, for the sake of, you know, decency and respect, let's try to pull back a little bit on spoilers for 2. I will own up to that being my fault as well. I really should be policing chat more. Like I said, I apologize. Rax can too. In fact, any of the mods can. But Bregman's the only one who actually watches my stream. So I kind of lean on her for that one. None of my own mods watch my stream. It's okay, none of my friends watch me stream either. Or my family. Nobody watches me stream. I think Rax is okay. I haven't seen much of him lately. I know he's excited about something with FF14. That's about all I know on that front. That's almost always on Discord, Ghost Rider. Or just, you know, when I go live and I just tell you live, like, hey, I suck. And that's like the message is, hey, I suck. I hate to do this, but this feels like the right call. Hate to turtle up even more than I'm already doing. /W space username space blah blah blah. It's yay old A school A. Or nope, you go up north. Or actually, no, let's put you down here. No, /whisper /W, not at. I know, right? Actually, Zerg are weirdly, like, I don't want to say they're bad at turtling. They're just nowhere near as good as the other two factions are. They can turtle, and Sunken Colonies and Spore Colonies are both legit. They're not on the same page as Terrans or on, as Protoss. Where's this Templar up here? Come down here for a sec, would you? No reason. I just hang out down here for a minute. Licorice coffee, which is probably a real thing. Licorice pudding is certainly a thing I discovered recently. It's pretty horrible. Instant and perfect scan for my Dark Templars, of course. Yes, it's very off-putting. Yeah, as weird as this may sound, I'm kind of okay with Zerg. 1, 2, 3, one more. Defensive units or defensive towers not being as good as they could be. But I'm saying that wrong. They're really good towers, but they're site specific, right? Spores can only attack air, Sunkens can only attack ground. You need to have a mixed line. So it's a little bit more pricey, and it's a little bit harder to do the positioning, which is why I like to go into what I call the hexagon, which you saw me do a couple missions ago, and you're about to see me do in a few seconds. Because the hexagon, in my experience, is probably the best way to maximize the effectiveness of the... You just put a spore in the middle, and you put the Sunkens around it. Yeah, you have to burn a spore to do it, too. Although... Or a spore, excuse me. A drone to do it. Although on the plus side, you get the food back when the drone turns into the building. Which leads to one of the oldest and simplest of the early rush techniques in Starcraft 1. So hang on. So I actually have to pause the game, Alt-Tab, pull up a completely separate thing to see if I'm receiving whispers. Let's find out. Okay, I am receiving whispers. I cannot respond, but I can receive a whisper. Cool. That's the worst of all worlds, really, if you think about it. That's just terrible. Yeah, Dark Days is whatever. I knew it, Eternus. You secretly hate me. That's okay. I don't mind you. I don't mind your blind hatred. Okay. So like I said, we're gonna have to mass mute us. Before we do that, we're gonna try something a little bit different. Oh man, YouTube can go straight to hell with all the nonsense they're pulling. Bragwin, hey! I hate to bother you, Bragwin, but is there any chance I could get you to toss a Discord invite to Ghost Rider, please? I hate to bug you. I mean, that's what hatred really is, isn't it? Yeah, daily mandated YouTube suicide. And also fascism. That one's the one that abuses me the most, really. Of all things, right? I don't... This is that terrain problem I've already complained about. Yeah, it's actually funny. Their initial ad block protection was pretty bad. I don't want to say effective, but it was pretty effective at getting the more basic YouTube anti-ad block. It was pretty effective at getting the basic ad blocks, right? And then the day they implemented it, the ad blockers were already on top of fixing it. I should mention that the ad block I use, which I believe is you, I'd have to look, is completely free and has the ability to support them financially if you choose to. Guess what I do? Because, you know, that has been such a godsend to me. You sure? Well, Hang on, maybe I don't use you. Who do I use? What do I use? Where's my extensions? No, I use you. Sorry, I gotta find this, because I know it's on their Reddit thread. Is where they actually keep track of this kind of thing. Yeah, no donations sought. Which, yeah. I actually have to dig to find the ability to donate to them. Now I'm tasked here. Oh, they shut it down. They actually shut down the ability to accept donations. How did they change that? Wow. That's pretty recent. Huh. Interesting. That's an interesting choice. I don't even actually blame them for that, as weird as that may sound, because I have an old saying, which is true. The moment money gets involved, things get weird. Whoops. And I don't just mean that in terms of people, although that is absolutely true in terms of people and psychology, but that's true legally. The moment money gets involved legally is the moment things tend to kind of go a little bit. Damn right, Dark Day. Stop giving me money immediately. Actually, yes, Blade Terrell. It's why legally I don't charge for anything. I know what you're thinking, but you give me money. We give you money, Lore, on a regular basis. You do, and I'm very thankful for that. But you'll notice I almost always use the terminology of donations, because that's what those are. Legally. You are not paying for a service. You are donating to me, and I appreciate it, and I keep streaming as a thank you for that. I allow people to put that donation towards something as a way of showing interest. I even have a disclaimer on the website being like, hey, this actually isn't a legally binding agreement. Like, because that's a whole ball of... Yeah, you support the show. You say, here, keep having food and keep being able to buy your adorable niece these wonderful crackers. I'm actually out of them. They're so good. I just discovered them. They're called like Evo, you know what this is. They're like Sendais or Senpais or something like that. They're so good. I've got to spread the word of these stupid things. They have replaced goldfish in my regular, like, crunchy snack food thing, because they don't make me feel sick or hurt my throat like, you know, goldfish do. That's a thing. Okay, sure. That... Huh. Huh. Senbei? Whatever Evo just spelled in chat. That's it. Okay, so you remember how I mentioned how if we lose the gateways, we lose the mission? Have you noticed what the enemy is beelining for? Because this is yet another escort mission, just like half the missions in this game are escort missions. That's okay, we didn't actually lose anything, but, yeah, for all intents and purposes, we have hero buildings for this mission. Which is arguably even worse than heroes, because we can't move buildings. I know, right, Bragwin? Although Want has two very, 3, 6, 7, two very good types of crackers. I just bought 10 more bags of those things. Yes, we have to be able to make Dark Templars. And we have to be able to have Dark Templars. If we lose the Templars and the gateways, we have lost the mission. Yeah, I can afford that. They look like cookies. Trust me, they don't taste like cookies. I've also been giving them away freely to my nieces, who all love them, and my sister, who takes them into school with her. God, I might just skip. I was going to do a ground force initially, but I might just skip it. Skip it, excuse me. And go straight for mutas. Or I could just die right now. That's cool, too. I like dying. I'm not... Okay, that's good. That's good. Let's try and drag him a little bit. We don't actually have a lot of spore colonies right now. Yes, good food is best shared. As I am fond of saying. Okay. Let's get a triad on the Eastern Front, shall we? 87 Dark Day. What do they tell us like? So they are a bit salty and a bit sweet, pretty much at the same time. One side of the cracker has flavoring on it, and the other does not, or has different flavoring. So, depending on which side, like what direction it is, the one that actually hits your tongue first is going to dominate your initial flavor profile. I tried, Dark Day. I will conquer the galaxy for my favorite niece. They're really good. They're not even that expensive. Like I said, they've just replaced... I kind of need some kind of crunchy snack thing that isn't carrots. So, they've pretty much replaced that in my diet right now. Okay, so we have that. We are low on everything. I mean, if statistics are to be believed, over 80% of people who watch YouTube do not use a form of ad blocker. Yeah, they're rice crackers. They're healthy. They don't have any side effects. They give me a donation from Vandalia. Like, they're just win-win. Kind of like carrots, actually. What, the rice cracker thing or the 80% thing, Meat Fist? If these are donations, can you count these as a tax write-off? No. The reason why is because that involves a level of paperwork I'm frankly not prepared to do. No offense, but no. Really? Not you. Thank you, Vandalia. I will put that towards Civilization 6. As a reminder, we have the plural voting system, so you can actually put that towards up to 3 things, if you would choose to. Come on. I mean, I am in favor of the concept of taxes, even though I have to pay taxes out the wazoo. Because, you know, I am pretty much perfectly positioned to be in the worst tax bracket that exists. There needs to be paperwork, essentially, Grayson North, which is why I'm like, don't try to claim these as tax deductibles. Oh, I haven't lived in California in 27 years. Had to think about that. Oh my god. Do you mind? California is probably one of the better places to live in the States, all things considered. If you can afford it, which is the catch. Okay, that's a thing that happened. Just lost a roaming devourer. Whoop, whoop, hello. Drug zombies. I mean, yeah, drugs are everywhere? Actually, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. This is not polemic day. Thank you for being part of the show, Bragman. I'll put that towards the Age of Empires block. Find it. There we go. I mean, I can think of much worse places to live in than California, I'm just saying. I'm not going to say what those places are. I am just... I think I've fallen behind. We're 20 minutes into the map, and I think I've fallen behind. I think that's game. That'd be an interesting question. What's the worst state to live in the States? Other than Florida. Sorry. It's Florida. Let's just be honest about that. Let's just all acknowledge that it's Florida. Just move on. I'm just getting chain harassed here. They're just chain harassing me. And I'm just sitting here not having resources and not being able to expand. Okay. Listen, no offense to Floridians, but your state sucks. All right, so all joking aside, I kind of would rather shoot myself than live in Florida. I could not deal with that. There's reasons for that, which I'm not going to talk about right now. But you know what I will talk about right now? Is heat and humidity. You ever heard of the Everglades? The Everglades suck. Moving on. Okay, I have enough for one group. I've earned the right to talk smack because I used to live in Kansas. Although, actually, weirdly enough, Kansas has been getting a lot better in the last about 10 years. Pretty much ever since I left, actually. Correlation is not causation. Politically, just politically. I'm just going to say that very, very bluntly. It's actually a pretty measurable effect that happened. Okay, that's way too much anti-air. We're not even going to try that. Yep, retirees have to move to Florida. It's the law. Hello, Eleazar. What color's Kansas today? So, I'll go and explain this because this isn't polemic. This is just the truth. What happened in Kansas is kind of funny to think about. So, Kansas has been a deep red state for a long time. And then, over the portion of the last, about 8 years or so, give or take, a lot of people who were... What the hell are you doing? A lot of people who were, like, high school range teenagers during the last 8 years got really, really sick of red policies, both in the country and in the state. Those people are now of age to vote. And so a whole lot of votes and policies and elections have been swinging more towards blue, pretty much as a direct reaction to that. As the next generation of voters are now in voting range and are now shifting it. It's, you know, like I said, I'm not making a statement, that's just a thing that's happening. So... Why, Act? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Could you, like, piss off for 5 seconds? Not you guys in chat, this freaking harassment campaign, which are still coming! I just finished with this. Yeah, there's also some states which are shifting the other way for pretty much the exact same reason. It's okay. I'm certain that a two-party system is definitely the best and most proper method of governance any country could ever have. I know, right, Aurico? Beats a one-party system. It's an interesting statement. Well, because it's Halloween, Trihexy, obviously. Hello. Well, obviously, you're all going to be part of the lore party, right? Because it is, Eleazar? Exactly, French philosopher. God, I'm already bored of this stupid mission. I'm just turtling while I wait for resources so I can build troops so I can go crack their forces. Why? I don't know, Eleazar. Go play the game, compare the turrets, find out that the Ancient is the worst, and then come back and agree with me. I don't know what you want from me, man. Let's do that. Few more minerals. Oh god, we're dry on minerals. No wonder. No, I took too long. That's really all it is. If there's one thing I'm worst at when it comes to Starcraft, and this has actually always been true, it's rushing. I have always been bad at rushing. I have to actually practice rushing. Probably at least in part because I just kind of don't like the idea of rushing. Like, it's not fun for me. So I tend to not do it. So we're going to see if 3 groups can crack either of these bases. I don't actually think they can, to be honest with you. And when they can't, we'll cheat and just get on with it. I don't even remember the question. I'm sorry, Act. I also don't remember what that mod is. You're gonna have to give me a second. Alright, save. Let's do it. See what happens. Really? Really? You just have a bunch of Valkyries right here waiting for me. And Devourers. Just waiting for me. You son of a Submariner. And I can't wait. So now I have to attack with a damaged group. Hear it, but I can't see it. Oh, never mind. Have you seen the response they brought, by the way? Thankfully, it's been piecemeal.
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
Why? How?
Our forces are under attack.
Can you stop reinforcing your base for like 5 seconds, please?
The hive cluster is under attack.
Please. Yeah, sure, just start sending battle cruisers backed up by Marines and Devourers after me. That's cool. That's cool. I'm cool. Anyway, so now I'm going to remute the game. Hope you enjoyed that non-muted portion of the game, because we're not doing that again. Goliaths are not as bad as they could be, but they're still not good. What? What is going on over here? What? What? And I can't pull these guys back because they're just chain attacking this spot. Do I? No, I don't. Okay. Yep, so I'm just gonna let this one Guardian kind of have its way with me. So that's my life. Oh, it does, but Guardians outpace them, or outrange them, excuse me. Because, you know, they are artillery. Meanwhile, the North Base is still just getting hammered non-stop by everything in the entire universe. Oh my god, okay. Get some freaking minerals going. I am mineral starved like crazy right now. But the best part is, what I should reasonably do is completely abandon this base up here. And immediately try to knock out this orange base. So we're going to do that. But this is probably a huge mistake. Tune in to find out how big of a mistake this is. Hang on, Elizar. Hang on. I didn't even see the question, so just give me a second. Okay. There are minerals down here, so that's helpful. Something very stupid. See how this works out. Hang on, Act. Hang on, hang on. You know what? Hang on, hang on. If I decide to stream Kaiserreich due to the ultra history nature of it, sooner or later everything's going to go up. I'm okay with that as long as everyone behaves themselves. Yes, as long as Rule Zero is fine, and you don't expect me to get involved in a political discussion about how Nazis are evil. Elizar says, what's the best tower in StarCraft 1? Photon cannons. Like, bar none. Bunkers can eventually be better, but require food and also additional setup. Photon cannons are the catch-all. They can do everything. They are detectors that can also hit ground and air and are relatively cheap. All they require is a pylon. Yeah, missile turrets are arguably better, but at the same time worse, because they can only hit air. And, again, while both colonies of the Zerg are actually really good at what they do, one can only attack air and one can only attack ground. And the Ancient of War does siege damage, slowly, in an arc, and is expensive. And while it can reposition itself, that's about all it's got going for it. By contrast, the... I don't remember what it's called. The Thingamabobberdoo does piercing damage and manages to hit very quickly and benefits. What are you doing, Orange? Jesus Christ, is this your entire fleet? Is that what's going on here? Piercing damage, quick attack, and decent range, too. Ziggurat, that's it, the Ziggurat. Medics. What? What? Could you... oh, God, and meanwhile, there's a white counterattack hitting. Okay. I can make this work. No, I can't. No, I can't. We're dead. Okay. Get up here. Deal with the siege tank guardian. Look at this! Look at this nonsense! The Orc Tower isn't exactly good. That's kind of whatever. I don't have much to say about that, honestly. There's the Orc Tower. The human towers, they exist. Yep, this is just my life. You like how they specifically chose things to completely ignore my entire defensive lines. There's one bit of good news here. We're down to 4 mutas from the initial 36. The bunker, give me a minute. I can't multitask right now, apparently. Die! God damn it! Okay, so we got Guardians, we got Wraiths, which they'll lose that battle. So let's try and dig up the Guardians. My new mutas, okay, new mutas are here. This is so irritating. I'm just straight up not having fun. I'm just being irritated. That's all this is. God damn it. Are you kidding me with this crap? Yeah, cloak all you want, you little No, I am. I'm grabbing minerals. See? This spot was dry anyways. Okay. Oh yeah, then we got the next mission, which is awful, and then which is also going to be on a timer, by the way. And then the next mission, which will be awesome. And then the next mission, which is going to suck. By the way, we lost a gateway and a pylon in that nonsense. If you don't understand the significance of that, if we lose this pylon or this gateway, we have lost the mission. So we now have, essentially, 1 point of failure. God damn it. Leave me alone, Orange. Leave me alone, Orange. Oh, God. Why, Orange? Why? Why are you such a dick? Where's my freaking drone? Did it not make it? Nope, there it is. Do you mind? I'm not sure how the kill triggers work, admittedly, Blake Chaval. There is actually a fail mission trigger. I just forget what exactly triggers it. We're down to 1 muta. That's our entire force right now. It's 0 mutalisks. It's okay. We actually do have enough for another round of mutas. Not a full round, because we don't actually have enough hatcheries to support that. That one Marine has 1 health! He has 1 health! You. My personal favorite, defense unit in any RTS ever is, I think it's called the Annihilator from Total Annihilation's expansion for Contingency. What it is, so well, you gotta be kidding me with this. Total Annihilation has an artillery cannon. It fires very slowly, it takes up a huge amount of energy every shot it shoots, and can hit the map. Like, just the whole map. As long as it has vision or a radar, it can hit anything, anywhere, right? Oh my god. Yeah, range equals yes. Alright, I give up. I give up. You win. You win. I don't feel like wasting... Well, we've already been here 40 minutes. I am well behind the curve at this point. So you're probably thinking, well, hang on, then what's the Annihilator? Well, the Annihilator is a chain artillery cannon. Like a rotary artillery cannon. The amount of energy it takes to fire per second is so ludicrously huge that unless you have multiple of the highest tier energy producers, you will not even be able to fire a single shot. But if you can afford the energy cost of the thing, it will shoot one of those artillery shots every about fifth of a second. Non-stop. So, I'm sorry, what's the question about the bunker? Oh, right, you're asking me about the bunker again because you hate me. I don't know why you hate me, Elizar, but that's okay. We here at the Lore Walkers are tolerant of people who hate me. It's a long-standing tradition to hate me. There's like one firebat and 4 lings just harassing me up here. Just having a laugh. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So... the bunker is a good defender cannon. It's nowhere near as good as photon cannons, because it requires you to have Marines and take up food. And if the bunker dies, the people can live, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good defensive structure. It's just not as good as photon cannon. Nothing is as good as photon cannons in terms of sheer versatility. But the bunker is probably, I'd say, the second best overall. It is more costly than pretty much any other defensive option in the game, but in terms of overall, but it is very, very, very useful. Ion cannons don't exist in this game. Yeah, the biggest problem with bunkers is that at a certain point they just fall behind. They just cannot keep up. I mean, that's what you guys really want, right? You want a stream of Golem and Rise of Kong. That's where we're at, right? Like, oh god, I lost my hive. I've lost my hive. I don't even have enough... okay. Yeah, see, the thing is, the reason that Terran defenses are so good is because while they are expensive, they cover each other beautifully. Siege tanks, bunkers, and turrets are a wall. They are a wall of death. And siege tanks, turrets, and bunkers with proper range upgrades and weapon damage upgrades while having a spotter, yeah. Now, if SCVs could actually properly repair, they would be even better, which is funny because they totally can in Starcraft 2. But one of these days I'll stop talking about Starcraft 2. Probably the minute we start playing it. That's how that works. We'll talk about FF13 non-stop until we start streaming it, and then we're just done talking about it because there's nothing else to say. We had this problem in Neverwinter Nights. Do you remember that? We talked about the final expansion of the final game of the Neverwinter Nights lore run. For the whole lore run, and then when we got there, we had nothing else to add. Space construction vehicle. The lore of this game. Sure. What do you got, Elizar? Ask me a question, and I will give you an answer. It'll be a dumb, stupid answer, but it'll be an answer. Do drones have a soul? No. Next question. Do Zerglings have a soul? No. Next question. Do Mutalisks have it? No. Next question. Probes? No. Who's Jimmy Rayner? He's just a good old boy. Ran afoul of the law. Took a plea. Got off easy. Got a marshal position. We'll actually find out more about Rayner as a character next game. Ironically, so there's another Starcraft 2 tidbit for you. Do I foresee the gameplay negatives catching up to the gameplay positives? At this point, yes, because I don't think we have any gameplay positives coming up in the future. Like, I really think we've capped on gameplay positives. Now, we still have to do the audit at the end. But yeah, think about the next several missions. Hi, Zeros. So the Kala, which has nothing to do with the Void, it is a psychic link that connects between people. They're not part of a hive mind. That's one of the more common misconceptions about the Kala. It's more like they all share the same intellectual Wi-Fi. So it is possible for a single Protoss to have a thought or a feeling, which then pretty much immediately bounces between all of the nearby Protoss. There's also particularly strong psionic individuals, and this has happened in Protoss history, can use the Kala to impose a particular thought or mindset or whatever upon other people who are connected to them. I love how we're just... I don't know if you've really noticed this. I just kind of A-moved into their base, and we have made this much progress. We went from there to there. Well, I slowly get built up to actually push into their forces. I just want you to understand the insanity that's going on right now. I just want you to process that on some level. Yeah, you would immediately know my anger. In fact, you'd probably feel my anger for the same general reasons. The idea is that it also kind of lends to... Oh, what's that called? Averaging out? No, there's a term for that. Whatever. It leads to an averaging out of thoughts and emotions amongst the Protoss. It is partially contributory to why they are such a stagnant species. Because if you have a thought, then that thought pretty much by natural tendency tends to spread, which then tends to spread and then tends to spread. Individual thoughts can and do happen. The Protoss are people, individual people with individual thoughts. But in terms of, like, change or progress or anything like that, that kind of stuff kind of gets sifted down and filtered down. The best analogy I could come up with, and this is a really, really stupid analogy, is I want you to imagine you've got like a tray with several sand sculptures in it, right? And you're just constantly shaking the tray. And so the sand sculpture is going to kind of slowly break down over time until the whole thing is just one flat plane of sand. That's the Protoss. It's one of the reasons why there are those who hated the very concept and said, no, we refuse. We would rather die than give up our individuality. Obviously, the Kala also has several obvious tactical benefits, which I don't even feel the need to go into. We'll actually see that in a cutscene in Starcraft 2. What am I doing? Well, it's funny you say that, Eternus, because there are theories that that's part of why the Protoss effectively have no real sex drive. I mean, other than their basic biology and the fact that they weren't built to have a sex drive, because the Protoss are a constructed race. But it's hard to be turned on when, you know, everybody in a 5-block radius is immediately going to feel the same general thing. Thank you, Sanoshi. I will put that towards dealer's choice. Thank you for supporting the show. Celendis has she's got a lot of fans. Oh, you mean in game? Right, right. So the Void is actually an alternate dimension within the confines of StarCraft. It's a place where other creatures can exist, and it has its own biomes, its own stuff, blah, blah, blah. Void has land and people and races. The Xel'Naga are actually from the Void. Oh my god, Dark Day. Void energy seeps out into the material plane semi-frequently. There's entire void currents that just kind of drift through the cosmos that can cause issues and problems. Void can be harnessed as an energy resource, which is what the Dark Templar do, obviously. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. The Void Rays, what they're doing is they're actually channeling void energy into a very, very fine, concentrated spot. That's how their death beams operate. It's also why they slowly spool up. Essence is I don't think I could give a summary on Essence. So rather than even try to, what I'm going to say is that essence is a word they overused to mean, like as a catch-all word to mean everything that makes up a particular species. That's all they really mean by that. DNA, biological makeup, yeah, genetic code, instincts, inclinations, digits, bones, muscles. Yeah, the essence of a creature, exactly. Now, that's what essence really does mean. The game likes to overuse that word to mean whatever the hell they feel like it, and that's why it's such a meme, is because it is such an overused word. Yes, Terrans have weak essence. Even though that's actually really not true. Negative worthy? We'll discuss it when we get there. I don't really want to talk about negatives for StarCraft 2 right now. God damn it! Can we stop talking about StarCraft 2 for 20 seconds? See you around, Eternus. I hope she's doing all right. I can't get away with it. No, I didn't start this. Elizar started this. Asked me what essence was. I answered the question. And then we drifted into StarCraft 2, as all discussions do. As is the nature of reality. Yes, Magister, I do. When we started the WoW lore run, people would not stop talking about Warlords, which was the most recent expansion at the time. I'm not joking. This is such a recurring thing. When we were doing the original Final Fantasy streams, we talked about FF13 the entire time to the point where I had to put up a freaking display on the screen saying, we're not talking about FF13. Which was at the time the most recent FF that had come out. When we streamed Neverwinter Nights, we did nothing but talk about Mask of the Betrayer the entire time we're streaming Neverwinter Nights. Like, it's just a thing. People want to talk about whatever the most recent thing is. Hell, that's even true in my streaminations. No, I think they were striking armor, specifically Euro. Yeah, no, it's a recency bias thing. It's exactly what it is. Like, to talk about the streaminations thing, so I've just watched an episode, and then I go live to talk about it, and naturally I start talking about it from the beginning of the episode, but everyone in chat immediately starts talking about what happened at the very end of the episode. And I'm like, well, hang on. Let's get there. Let's work towards this. But everyone just immediately wants to talk about the end of the episode. These Zerglings have given up. They have gone docile. Oh, nope, there they go, there they go. I mean, Lord knows we kept constantly talking about Shadowbringers and Stormblood the whole run, too, Blade 12, so it's not like it was immune to that problem. Where's my Templar? There it is. Could you finish, please? Thank you. Fine, Huthor, but you've got to feed him. And remember, those are the size of cows. They're like 1.3, I think, meters tall. So, just keep that in mind. Yeah, they also rip through tanks. Nah, I don't want to talk about the Mario block, because then we'll talk about Mario Wonder, and I'm trying to walk into Mario Wonder as turbo-blind as possible. I have actually only watched one video about Mario Wonder, just the one, which is the initial trailer. You asked a question about Archons. Sure, hang on, I didn't even see it. There was one comparison that Archons are like a star in their powers, and Dark Archons like a black hole. I believe I made that comparison, actually. But yes, one burns, the other absorbs. Pretty basic stuff. That's probably exactly what's going to happen, Mike Kamano. What do you think keeps this game compelling to this day? Do you want me to be very, very, very blunt, Spartan? I don't think StarCraft 1 is that good of a game. I think the score currently reflects that. I think it is a good idea that is terribly implemented, that barely knows what it's doing. I think that the main reason that StarCraft has staying power is because of snowball effect. I think that people know StarCraft so well inside and out that they just kind of adhere to the game. Not because it's good, but because they know what they're doing. I actually saw a fascinating comment on the VOD talking about making control groups of like 4 units per control group and going in across like 6 or 7 keys just to control a single squad in order to properly micro that squad. And I'm just sitting here thinking, that sounds so awful to me. And yet, that's exactly what people like about this game. So if you ask why I think StarCraft 1 has staying power, that's why. Because it was a popular game, and so it is a popular game. That's it. That's all.
It is done, Kerrigan. The Overmind is dead, as you wished. Now, I demand that you release the Matriarch at once.
Of course. Rashagal, do you wish to return to your tribe?
No, my queen. I wish only to serve you and remain at your side.
What treachery is this, Kerrigan? This pathetic creature cannot possibly be Rashagal.
I promised that I'd allow her to return to you, Zeratul, but it looks to me like she doesn't want to go.
You have corrupted her. Somehow you have poisoned her thoughts. Restore her to her rightful self, or you will pay dearly for this offense, Kerrigan.
All right, Zeratul, you've got me. I made your matriarch my slave long before I joined you on Shikuras. She made the mistake of underestimating my power, just like everyone else did. And now she's paid the price. With her as my puppet, I was able to eradicate the renegades on Shikuras and use you to kill the Overmind. And as you can see, your leader belongs to me now. Not bad, huh?
We shall see, Kerrigan. We shall see.
To defend myself briefly, Daedalus. First of all, I disagree with you massively. Let me start by saying that. But you say that I missed the context of the time because I come at it from a contemporary perspective, which has nothing to do with the question I was asked. I was asked, why does StarCraft 1 have staying power now? Today. Not why it took off back in the day. Not why it was a sea change to RTSs. Not why it was the birth of RTSs as a functional genre. Not why it completely overhauled how lots of people thought about game design. And not how it completely launched Blizzard as a company and managed to really push forward a lot of people's careers. None of that was the questions I was asked. StarCraft 1 was a gigantic, huge sea change for everything. And if you had ever watched my lore run or my reviews of this game, you would know that I know that. So I disagree with you, sir. Second point. Negative to story. I've had this negative written down since we were back in the Protoss campaign. Just sitting there. It's just been sitting there. Plot. Rashagal. How the hell does Kerrigan control Rashagal? Please explain that to me. In fact, just to jump in here, it's actually a plot point that Zerg and Protoss are fundamentally against each other. Like, they cannot merge. Zerg cannot infest Protoss, right? Like, that's a thing. That's a huge plot point. So how in God's name does Kerrigan walk up and just be like, boo? And I'm just going to spoil something for you. In the next mission, Rashagal is going to start talking with a clearly infested sound effect on her voice. And it's going to be like, so the implication is that she infested Rashagal just like she infested Duran. That's the plot point, Elizar. Thank you for paying attention. So it took the Xel'Naga themselves in order to actually be able to combine these two things. There is such a gigantic plot hole here that I'm actually going to go and give it 2 negatives, because here's the problem. First of all, actually, no, it's actually 3 negatives. Sorry, hang on. Let's run through this list, shall we? First of all, Rashagal is, actually, that is in StarCraft 1, as we'll see 2 missions from now, Jaludo. Rashagal is diminished as a character by virtue of being mind-controlled. Now, I know you could say that about a lot of characters, and that's debatable. Absolutely. But, in my opinion, Rashagal would have been a substantially more interesting and engaging character if she was just an evil old bat, right? We talked about this. That she's just someone who is part of the old guard and has issues and blah, blah, blah. But no, Kerrigan has to somehow have control over her for some goddamned reason. So, yeah, we literally don't even see Rashagal non-mind controlled until her deathbed, if you even count that. So we never even see what kind of character she is. So like I said, problem number 1. Problem number 2 is the basic logic of the situation. So Kerrigan mentions that she had Rashagal mind-controlled, however she did it, before we even get to Shikuras. When and how would she have had time to do that? Think about the timeline for a second. Just really process this. Kerrigan is converted into the Queen of Blades on Char. Immediately after this, she runs around, beefing up her power and chasing after Zeratul. But while this is happening, the Overmind heads to Ire and starts attacking Ire. While they're attacking Ire, Aldera, the Conclave are stupid. And then Ire falls, they flee to Shikuras, and there's Rashagal already mind-controlled. Question. Actually, all the questions, because there's huge gaps in logic here. Now, this could be explained if you argue that the Queen of Blades is lying here and actually only just showed up and mind-controlled her when she showed up. But that brings itself to a whole other host of questions. There's just a whole lot of what that isn't fleshed out in the construction of the plot behind the scenes. But hang on, that leads us to the third problem here, which I already opened with. How? How did she mind control a Dark Templar matriarch? Because there's only two possible answers here. One is that she infested Rashigal, which makes no goddamn sense on any level. Or two, they're saying that this random ghost lady is more psychically powerful than one of the most ancient and venerated Dark Templars, which is its own problem. No matter how you slice this, this doesn't work, narratively speaking. So, I have resisted the Mary Sue thing this entire game. I have. But there are only two possible explanations for how she takes Rashigal. Either the writers are stupid, or they're trying to put her on a pedestal. One of the two. What really frustrates me is that the game narratively is trying to make the Queen of Blades out to be like this invincible doom ball. And yet, if you've been paying attention, each Zerg mission, you start off massively on the back foot against wildly superior forces. And the whole time, I feel like I'm just barely, like when I did this without cheating years ago, I feel like I'm just in the back here, like, you know, just flailing and screaming and running around while there's massive fires everywhere as I'm desperately trying to hold together some semblance of a strategy. That's just... And you know, I have won everything, and ha. Sure. And then, spoilers, she kills this Cerebrate. She actually kills us. This is not actually an argument. Or not an argument, sorry, not a debate. She actually does kill off all the Cerebrates off camera. That's the point, Elizar. That's exactly the point. But save your question for 2 missions from now, because the game will actually answer you on that one. Yeah, it's also possible the Protoss have no DNA. We're not 100% on how that worked out. But I think it's possible to just, like, traditionally break down the Matriarch. No. I'd better, Evo, but we got 3 missions left. And I'm sitting here typing. Here, have a cutscene.
My queen, with the Overmind and its Cerebrates destroyed, all of the Zerg in this sector have reverted to your direct control. The remnants of the UED fleet have fled the planet, but I have no idea how many functional ships they still possess. We have finished relocating your primary hive clusters to this orbital platform. However, we do have a problem. Somehow, Zeratul and his brethren were able to bypass our defenses and steal their matriarch away from us.
Damn Zeratul. He is a formidable adversary. Where have they run to, Duran?
Our scouts report that they have regrouped with a number of Protoss survivors on the surface of Char. The matriarch is being held within a stasis cell, leading me to suspect that the Protoss will attempt to take her home to Shakuras.
They still believe that she can be saved from my influence. Zeratul will be very disappointed to learn that Rashagal is beyond redemption. How much time before their fleet is ready to debark for Shakuras?
They will be capable of dimensional recall within 30 minutes, my queen.
That may be all the time we need. Cerebrate, mobilize all of my broods and send them to the surface of Char. I want you to bring both the Matriarch and Zeratul to me alive. Terminate the remaining Protoss with extreme prejudice.
So, funny little thing. I was just looking at the story negatives we've given. We gave Vanilla 3 negatives to story. We're up to 15 total. And yeah, they're like, the Rashagal cannot be restored. Which continues to not make sense because both infestation and mind control are both solvable problems. So, huh? So this is the speedrun mission. Now we're actually going to get a save here. We're going to slow down the game a little bit. We want to do this mission in 14 minutes. Or, no, sorry, 24. Sorry, 24 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This, I remember this being irritating to do in time, so we'll see how we manage. Yeah, by the way, this is kind of a kill-all, so that's cool. Shattered her mind. Uh-huh, sure she did, Trihexia. Wink! The Queen of Blades is definitely capable of shattering the mind of Rashagal. Wink! I agree with you. Wink! See you around, Evo. So here's our final new things for Brood War. We forgot to talk about the Devourer, but as I already said... No, we did talk about the Devourer. Never mind. Ultralisks get a couple of new upgrades. First of all, Ultralisks can move quicker, which is, you know, much, much more useful. And then we improve their armor. Both of those make the Ultralisk slightly less terrible. That's it. Moving on. So, why do I think it's not possible to make Matriarch through more traditional means? So, okay, sure, no problem. How long do you think it takes to break someone mentally? Just, you know, spitball, right? Give me a rough period of time. Do you think it can work? Because, yeah, on the one hand, you've got a thousands-year-old psychic on a planet full of psychics in the center of their host of power, while you are like a week old at this point. I just... Like, you really got to keep thinking about the timeline here for a second. I hate to keep re-emphasizing this point, but really think about this timeline. Okay, so, I'm on Char. I must continue fighting on Char. Rawr, I'm going to keep doing stuff on Char. Char stuff. And remember, at the end of Vanilla, there's a specific line that mentions that she is on Char when the Overmind's mind control of her goes away. So she remains on Char for the whole scale of Vanilla. Immediately after the fall of the Overmind is when the Protoss flee from Ire. Like, immediately after. Hours, if not minutes after the fall of the Overmind, they bail. So, at that moment in time, she's still on Char. Then they bail. They get to Shakuras. They find out that the Zerg have followed them through. And then she shows up. The Queen of Blades shows up. Which means the only way for this timeline to work out at all is for her to beeline immediately from Char to Shakuras. Now, I'm willing to give a little bit of leeway on that, because it actually makes sense that she would be following the Cerebrits, because they're the immediate threat to her power, and she would know through the swarm that the Cerebrits are going to Shakuras. Cool. So she at least has a reason to beeline for Shakuras. But where in this period of time do you think she has the time to go ahead and break down Rashagal exactly? What am I doing? Yeah, the UED force slow-moded it here. That's why they used cryosleep and the like. Took them, what, years? I want to say like 5 years, which is actually really, really fast. So they were still going at some kind of FTL to travel that distance in 5 years. Which makes sense, actually, now that I think about it. The original sleeper ships were going at FTL. They just weren't going at gate speed. Get out of the way, please. Thank you. Yeah, the original people, Sassy. Yeah, the Kapula sector was an unintentional space Australia. That was pretty much the original pitch for the entire setting. Let's see what you have to say about that.
Our forces are under attack.
Okay. So there's remnant UED forces here. Sure. There is no withdrawal from the garden. That's a good example of a non-context spoiler, by the way. Something I'm always in favor, well, almost always in favor of. Oh man, multi-ion beams, that would be useful right about now. Yeah, this is part of the irritation part of this mission. You're in a hurry, and there's freaking Terrans in the way of you progressing. No, no, go up the ramp! This game.
Our forces are under attack.
Guardians for life. I suppose that's fair. I should just cheat and get on with it. Okay. In that case,
Our forces are under attack.
This is a kill-all, although it's only kill-all Protoss. We don't actually have to kill the UED. The UED are squatting on resource nodes. So we have to push into the UED in order to claim expansions. answer the unspoken question from Spartan earlier, the reason I think StarCraft had its initial bundle of popularity, not the lasting popularity, but the initial bundle, is because of all the reasons I've already mentioned. It had good visual design, it had good audio design, it had a unique and interesting story that resonated with a lot of people. At least vanilla did. It came out at a really good time when RTSs were kind of on a rise, and so there was high interest in RTSs. It was better than anything else before. It was the WoW vanilla of RTSs back in the day. Not actually good, but so much better than everything else was. It actually had factions that were different from each other, which was a huge change. And it had 3 factions instead of 2, and its approach to the campaign was different. So the mere fact that it was capable of having the single story approach was honestly pulled in a lot of people that otherwise wouldn't have gotten involved. Command and Conquer has a story. More accurately, it has 2 stories, 2 micro stories, might even be a better way to phrase that, because both of them just kind of are there. They're not bad. There's some cool stuff showcased, but it's clearly not really the focus, right? It's not the point of it. Warcraft 2, kind of the same deal. There is a story, a narrative to Warcraft 2, but it didn't really push anywhere. And then we get to Starcraft 1, where story is all of a sudden a focus. Whether the story is good or bad almost doesn't matter at that point, because the story is the focus. This is a distinction I tend to make several times, because games without story focus can have good story, and games with story focus can have bad story. But whether or not you have story focus at all tends to resonate with people. If you have to go digging out the story in the background or in the manual, not everyone's going to hit that. But if you have a game where they have characters who develop and push forward and live and die and have all that stuff, there is a significant portion of real estate being devoted to the story. People resonate with that. And that's StarCraft in a nutshell. Arguably the first RTS to really have a story focus. So, story focus, multi-faction, single campaign, unique factions. It controlled better than anything else at the time. Like, just way better. All the issues I've had with controlling this game, which have irritated the ever-living snot out of me, which I do not hold back on. Like, I still firmly think that this game is incredibly frustrating to play, is still better than everything else that was out at the time. Controlling the original Command & Conquer, or the original Red Alert, or Warcraft 1, or Warcraft 2, was a colossal pain, right? Like, anybody of you who have played those games, especially recently, you know exactly how big of a deal it was. Just to have a proper attack group. Just something as absolutely banal as sending troops to attack the enemy base was irritating, right? Yeah, exactly, Daedalus. So, it's really, really obvious. Have fun, Brigman. Take care. Get like a smoothie while you're out on me. Seriously, I'll pay you to get a smoothie. We need good things in our lives. Go get a smoothie. You have Smoothie King there, right? I don't remember if Warcraft 2 had Smart Interact. I legitimately don't remember if it did. But I know that it was less developed than StarCraft. StarCraft, one of the things that we don't talk about that much, that it did tech-wise, was it pushed forward the concept of the Smart Interact. So what that means is, if you have this unit selected, and you right-click something else, the game can interpret what it wants you to do based on the unit, and based on what you right-click. Nowadays, that's kind of a duh, and just, standard operating feature that's in every game. But StarCraft was one of the first games to do a good job with that, to actually take that and turn that into something more than just a back-of-the-box feature. I think it's everything. But StarCraft is absolutely an influential game. Whether it's good, bad, or in between almost doesn't matter at that point. Because it was a siege. It's WoW Vanilla. I've already made this point. WoW Vanilla, my honest opinion, is not a good game. I don't think it holds up. I think it has many problems. I think it was boring and dull and crap and mired too much in the EverQuest mentality. But it was still heads and shoulders above everything else at the time. Nothing came close. Really? God damn it. And yeah, sorry, as Dakota is correct, because I often dismiss this aspect of game design. That's my fault. Audio and visual design and music. How many of you, the moment you heard, when we first started this run last week, you heard the initial startup music and you were just like, yeah! Or, you know, well, I mean, just watch as we kind of blow everything up here. As we slow-mo our way through this thing and they explode, or... Here, watch what's going to happen to this fire bat in just a second. Okay, fire bat's about exhausted. Let's just do it to the medic. Come here, medic. Come here, medic. Yeah. Late 90s, of course. And you can just hear it, right? Oh, I don't need to attack you. I need to attack you. I got 10 minutes to beat this whole mission, to wipe this entire Protoss base out. I may not manage that with cheats. Part of the thing I don't like about this mission is it feels like it really wants you to go mutas in a mission where you're not really given the resources to do that quickly. And obviously we want to get to the optional mission, but if we do this, we still have a timer. So even though we want to get the optional mission, which is an even faster timer, we really we will lose the mission if 30 minutes pass. So we are halfway through the we're gonna lose marker at this point. And don't worry, the next and the Zerg mission is even worse than this nonsense. What's the bonus mission? Oh, give me a minute. I'll tell you. Give me about 10 minutes, actually. Oh, this is taking a minute. The bonus mission is probably, and I say this without hyperbole, probably one of the biggest reasons why I remember Brood War so fondly. I'm not making that up. Because there are some issues with Brood War, as I think this particular review has shown. Brood War is a very problematic expansion. Especially on the narrative axis. Not quite so much on the gameplay, but then again, we have a lot of gameplay negatives here, so... I agree with that, Fife, completely. It's also one of the tidbits that helps to showcase how much they already knew where they were going with the story. Which is something that comes up semi-frequently. You know, how much of 2 was a retcon? Well, the seeds of 2 were sown right here. Well, and by right here, I mean in the mission right after this one. Let's see. I liked the medics and... That's... it? I think? Actually? Oh, wow. Oh, lurkers. Okay, thank you. I was just like, no, there's got to be something else. Yeah, lurkers. I like medics and lurkers. Which is funny because they're both a development of pre-existing good units. Hydralisks and Marines, respectively. Or, yeah. No, we played the secret mission right after this one. In fact, Omega actually references the secret mission in a single line of dialogue. Literally one. Are you not? Go harvest gas. What's required to beat the mission? There has to be more than 6 minutes left on the clock when we beat this mission. Which, if you're paying attention, we're nowhere. Now, granted, I've been playing very suboptimally. But that is exactly as hard as it sounds to do. You have to turbo rush this mission. Because this is a kill-all, and so we got a sweet blue over here. So I think it's a kill-all. I should verify that before I say that. I don't know if that's like a fair comparison, but sure, Eleazar, we'll go with that. Yep, nope, I was right. We got a sweep. Yeah, 2's missions can be very hard or very easy, depending. Even in the same mission. Brood War is just screw you mode all the time. The only good news about this is the Protoss campaign. You probably didn't even notice this. Protoss are set to near total passive. They will defend themselves, but they'll never expand, they'll never aggress, they'll never push. The only harassment you'll receive is from the 2 UED bases which surround you. Problem is, the UED bases are extremely good at harassment, and realistically speaking, you do not have time to go and go after them. Aside from Jackass, do Protoss and Terrans mix? No, from all intents and purposes. Protoss don't mix with anything. That's actually kind of the point. Why it would take some kind of supreme cosmic power to make Protoss mix with anything. Okay, so we should be good. I'm going to unmute here. Yeah, doing this mission legit back in the day was one of those, no, Dark Day. Here, I can prove it. Watch this. Watch the timer at the top. This is one of those speedrunner moments for me, because you can't just win the mission normally. You really, really need to think about exactly what you're trying to focus fire on, kill only the necessary buildings, and then move on as quickly as possible. I have done this with pure Zerglings before, just once. It was a hell of a thing, but it worked because fully upgraded Zerglings can move fast enough to basically ignore the enemy forces and just focus fire their buildings down, which is how I managed it. Well, there's this Mary Sue character. I don't even remember his name. Don't ask me, because I'm not looking it up. He's a Mary Sue. Oh, no, we're forgetting his name immediately. He has no name. Do not repeat that name in my presence. Two minutes to spare with cheats.
Damn you, Kerrigan, for what I must do.
Thank you, Zeratul.
See? Infestation.
Freed me from her vile control at last. You have always served me with honor. Thus, I must ask you to watch over my tribe. Into your hands I give the future.
I can hardly believe this. You've killed your own matriarch.
Better that I killed her than let her live as your slave, Kerrigan.
Well, I have misjudged you, warrior. You are worthy indeed. You are free to go.
What?
I said you are free to go. I've already taken your honor. I'll let you live because I know that from now on your every waking moment will be torture. You'll never be able to forgive yourself for what I forced you to do. And that, Zeratul, is a better revenge than I could have ever dreamed of.
You will regret this decision, Kerrigan. We shall meet again.
Bonus level activated. Gotta tell you, the first time I activated the bonus level, I didn't know it existed. So I was a little bit surprised when that popped up. Uncharacteristically true to her word, the Queen of Blades allowed Zeratul and a few of his brethren to leave the planet Char with their lives. These weary, battered Protoss set course for the planet Shakuras in the hopes of finding their comrade Artanis and any other survivors of her wrath. Dark Origin.
My friends, we have suffered a great defeat. Our matriarch is dead. Our fleets have been scattered across the astral winds. And Kerrigan has gained complete control over the Zerg swarms. Yet, as always, we must struggle onward. Our immediate priority is to find Artanis and his warriors. Once we have made contact with him, we can return to Shakuras and plan our next moves.
Prelate Zeratul, we are currently tracking Protoss power signatures emanating from an uncharted moon nearby. Our records do not indicate that there has ever been a Protoss settlement in this quadrant.
Strange. It could be Artanis or other survivors of our fleet down there. At any rate, it is our duty to investigate the source of the energy signatures. Set your course for the Dark Moon. If Artanis is there, we shall find him.
Zeratul, our sensors have detected a small Terran compound near the source of the energy signatures.
Understood. I'll look into this matter myself. Narada.
Input command. We hear you.
You address me.
Receiving.
I don't know. I'm kind of with Terra. I think he was just mad, like just straight up angry. I legitimately didn't even mean to do that.
I do this for ire.
I am needed. Must flee your options.
Your orders, Templar. I do this for ire. So be it. Entaro Adun. I do this for ire. So
This is the optional mission, yes.
Entaro Adun.
While I kill these people, what do you think's going through that last guy's mind as his people just kind of vanish in front of him?
I see chaos.
It will be done.
I can't...
Entaro Adun. So be it.
In response to Ghost Rider's thing, I
do this for
I am physically incapable
Your options.
of
Commencing.
calling WoW Vanilla anything other than a bad game.
Make use.
So, the nicest thing I could possibly say about it is to just not talk about it. And I apologize. I actually have a rule where I'm not supposed to talk about it anymore. And it just kind of slipped through because we were talking about games that took off because of how big they were, not how good they were. You know, sea change games, right? Doom 1, right? Or, you son of a...
You address me.
Transmitted.
Anyways. So, I will try to adhere to my rule of not talking about WoW Vanilla. Because that topic has been talked to death, and there's nothing else to be added to it at this point. Who are these Terran guys? Guys loyal to Amon? More like guys who were paid money. The general thought here is that the Terrans aren't easy to buy off. Just like, you know, real life people.
For vengeance.
I mean, I meant what I said. WoW Vanilla was a complete sea change and just heads and shoulders better than every other MMO at the time in many, many, many ways. Way user-friendly and also very, very scarce. It was very hard to buy a copy of WoW back in the day, which I mentioned. Okay, so he didn't die. I was just waiting for it. I was just waiting for it. Jesus Christ, this game. Which I mentioned because the scarcity of it almost assuredly added to the popularity of WoW at launch. I can only share this anecdotally. I lived near Kansas City at the time, in the greater Kansas City area. I lived in the greater Kansas City area at the time, and the entire greater Kansas City area was sold out of WoW when it came out. And the point here is that because it was sold out, people were talking about it being sold out, which made more people aware of the fact that it existed and automatically made people more interested in it. So they're like, well, that's strange. What's that? Well, it's called World of Warcraft. What is it? Well, it's this new MMO. What's an MMO? Well, and it spread. It kind of created an artificial word of mouth scenario, and I feel like a lot of people got more interested in WoW when it came out, specifically because of that. I actually had to ask, this is a true story, I had to ask one of my employees, because I was a manager at Arby's at the time, to make a very lengthy trip. Well, okay, I'm not telling this story quite correct. One of my employees was already making a very lengthy trip in order to go buy some copies of the game, like an hour drive that way, to go find a town that actually had copies, and then hour drive back. And the great problem there was they had to do that on shift. Like, the only time they had available to do it was during their work shift. So they had to, dude came to me and was like, hey, I need to ask a really weird favor. I need 2 hours off today in order to go and actually buy WoW for me and my friends. I said, sure. Will you buy me a copy too while you're there? And gave him some extra money for it. And then I just covered his work shift. What, I understood. He was polite about it. He wasn't being a dick about it. And I had already played WoW at that point. Remember, I was in the alpha of WoW and the betas. No, Loner. I think they had the same problem most large-scale games do. I think they had no idea how popular it was going to be.
I do this for must feed.
Anyway, so I'm just gonna cheat. Just cheating. Don't care. Don't care. Woo.
So be it.
Don't care. Care level
I do
gone.
this for ire. So be it. Entaro Adun. It will be done. I do this for ire. Entaro Adun. It will be done. There is a Protoss in this cell.
Danger. Test subject 23 suffering from psychic feedback. Pylon crystals at critical stage. Cell meltdown imminent.
Damn. The Terrans are having more trouble utilizing pylons than I thought. And I still have no clue as to why they had imprisoned that Protoss within the cell. Oblivion awaits.
Can't attack, by the way.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
Will be done.
And they attack it on sight. And it's only got, like, 60 health. So it's not really a good use of 150 energy.
I do this
Warriors
for
have
ire.
engaged the enemy.
Well, so that flash of light is them emergency teleporting back to Ire,
Your order.
which obviously doesn't really apply anymore.
Will be done.
What you're supposed to do on this mission is you're supposed to mind control the tanks and mind control the stuff and blah blah blah. You give it a stealth nuker.
The warriors have engaged the enemy. And Taro Adun.
And, you know, told to go nuts with it.
It will be done.
Protoss, I've never known the Protoss to mind control anyone under any circumstances, so that would be my answer to you, Eleazar.
It will be done. And Taro Adun. Suspected. There are more stations. Your warriors have engaged the enemy. It will be done. There's a Protoss within this cell as well. Maybe this computer terminal can give me the answers I seek.
Test subject 25 in cryohibernation. Neuroscan compiling data. DNA code computed and archived. Psionic emanations minimal.
The audacity of these Terrans confounds me. If they seek to know more about Protoss warriors, I will give them a first-hand lesson.
That's a gameplay thing, more than anything else.
Item needed. Receiving cost Narada.
See you around, Daniel.
And Taro Adun. I do this for ire. It will be done. And Taro Adun. I do this for ire. So be it.
No, Eleazar, all she can do is infest people, like any Zerg.
Engage the enemy.
Also true of Blade Jamal. Dark Archons don't last any longer than Archons do. So their mind control in lore, even if they can do it, would literally only last a few minutes. Still useful on the battlefield, but, you know, not, I'm going to make an entirely new faction and food pop situation like it is in the games.
So be it. And Taro Adun.
Hailing frequencies open. Take it slow. Hailing frequencies open.
The warriors have engaged the enemy. You address me. I do this for ire. What's this? There is a Zergling in this tank. What is going on here?
Test subject 27 in cryohibernation. Neuroscan completed and archived. DNA code computed and archived. Gene splicing between test subjects 25 and 27 completed. Experiment 2273 progressing.
By the gods, this can't be happening. Arrest me. The warriors have engaged the enemy. I do this for
Make no mistake, Ghost Rider, I'm really happy that WoW Classic exists because of preservation of history and because it seems to bring people legitimate joy. But the thing I've become more and more aware of, especially this year in particular because it keeps coming out, no, he has the exact same stats he always has, is that
All crews reporting.
this sounds like an insult, but I swear I don't mean it as one. What people want out of an MMO is different. In fact, I'd say there's about 3 general camps of people, or categories, which is kind of a Venn diagram situation, right? So there's people who want PvP experience, there's people who want a good game, and then there's people who want a good social experience. And these three things don't really conduce with each other, to be very honest.
Open. Make it happen.
WoW Classic is not a very good game, pretty much on purpose, at least at this point. And that's what people want. They want more of the social experience. They want more of the interactions with people, right? Rather than interactions with the game.
Hailing Hailing frequencies open.
They're not completely mutually exclusive, but you get the distinction. And then there's people who want more of a game. Rather than even talk about WoW, I will talk about something like, say, Final Fantasy XIV, which is focusing much more on the game aspect of things. Whereas, say, let me think about this. I guess EVE Online is kind of the example here. EVE Online has almost no game there at all. And what game there is arguably very, very bad. But whole lot of the social side of things, right? The interactions between the players. Stuff like that. It's one of the reasons why games like New World, despite being New World, had such a huge player base at launch, because there's a large audience for people who just want that kind of experience, the more social, running around, non-gameplay kind of interactions. I don't have a better way to phrase that. They want, there's actually a term for that.
I do this for ire.
Can't think of what it's actually called. It's like stuff. It's emergent gameplay. That's what they call it. Emergent gameplay.
So be it.
And the best way to make emergent gameplay by far is to make gameplay that is worse.
Entaro Adun.
And I don't say that as an insult. That's a statement of fact. The more bugs or jank or glitches or lack of quality of life features or friction or anything like that, the more of that kind of thing that exists in the game, the more likely it is, especially if you have a lot of people playing it, that stuff's going to happen, and those stuffs will lead to it. Let me use a very, very direct example, and I hate to use WoW as the example here, but whatever. The big plague, the Zul'Gurub plague, you know the one, the Blood Rage plague. That was bad gameplay. Some developer didn't do their job right, to be blunt, and that's why that happened. But that led to a very dynamic, emergent gameplay scenario, which a lot of people found interesting and engaging. And so you see how these two things tend to be at odds with each other. So, I don't like this mission, gameplay-wise. I know I'm cheating. I kind of don't care. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a negative to gameplay. It's a puzzle mission without being interesting. Yeah, that's the one, Mr. Floyd Pickerton. And the problem is they really, really want you to solve each particular puzzle in a very specific way. And they don't... I don't know, it's like a poor man's imitation of the same Zerg mission, which was awesome earlier on. Yeah, they really want you to mind control units to win. And you're probably thinking, what's the issue with that? Well, there's several. But the biggest by far is mind control costs 150 energy. If you screw up at all, you either lose your Dark Archon or you have to reload. So you have to be save stating constantly through this mission, because if you screw up at all, you basically cannot recover from that screw up. There's no fallback. It's binary difficulty, which you know I'm not a big fan of. And then they want you to do a specific solution to things. If you screw up, you just have to reload or start over, depending on how your saving is. And the worst part is, there's a lot of just waiting if you're doing this statically, right? If you're doing this without cheats, because you're just sitting there waiting for your mind control energy to come back, because it takes 150, and you only have a tank of 250. And I'll demonstrate. Or maybe I won't, but whatever. It takes a while to come back. That's the whole point. So I don't think this is particularly good mission design. I get what they were going for, but I think with a few tweaks, this might have worked a lot better. Maybe make a mechanic where Zeratul dying doesn't end the mission. Maybe make a tweak so that you have a fresh source of Dark Archons if you lose your existing ones. This is the kind of thing that Warcraft 3 and Starcraft 2 would both use, where there's just like a trigger that's like, oh, you lost your mission critical unit. Here's a new one. Maybe make it so that in this specific mission, these Dark Archons have a special buff, which pretty much gives them infinite energy, or much faster regenerating energy, or something, right? But no. Instead, it's just... And the whole time, you're just... The whole time through, right? So, negative to gameplay. Moving on. No, you two... Other than mind controlling, there are no reinforcements in this mission. Unless you count the Ursidon. Darkons. Eh. Can she infest Mensk? Sure. Can she infest Jagal? Sure. Why didn't she do so? Bad writing. All right. Hang on. I'm playing catch up here. Thank you, Base Master. I do appreciate the sub. As always, if you give me a minute, I'll jot that down for various things. For Fire Emblem, 3 houses, Triangle Strategy, and Tyranny. Do I feel there's a reason these games to be massively multiplayer if the social ties are neglected? That's actually a fascinating question. Arguably no, but I think the problem is the MMO crowd doesn't really exist anymore. The original MMO crowd was a huge block of players who all wanted different things and for different reasons. Most of that crowd has since disseminated out into other games, and most of the people who tend to stay are either people who want to push themselves to one of the particular niches of an MMO, or they're there because they want the co-op side of the MMO. I point to Final Fantasy XIV and Guild Wars 2 as good examples of that. So the point I'm trying to make there is that I feel like CO RPGs, as in cooperative RPGs, would actually be a much better market for MMOs to move into. And then that way, MMOs can actually be the EVE Online thing, the massively online thing, which is focused entirely on the player experience. By the way, there's like 3 of those coming out next year, so we'll see if any of those manage to land. One based on Dune, for example, to capitalize on the success of the recent movie. Excuse me. And Huthor is right about the gear itemization thing, too. In BC, well, and vanilla especially, gear was absolutely all over the place. You would have pieces of gear, like male pieces of gear that had stats that nobody could ever benefit from. You had cloth gear with strength on it, right? Like there were shields with spell damage on it, and so forth and so on. Gear was just absolutely all over the place, and that could fulfill some niches, which led to things like warriors running around tanking in mail and cloth with a dagger. But all of that was arguably because of the fact that the game just wasn't as designed. It was not intended for warriors to run around tanking with a dagger. It just coincidentally into being the best thing, right? Yeah, exactly, Huthor. Exactly. So, whether that's good, bad, or in between is debatable, but you see why I make that distinguishing line between gameplay and social experience. Now, I've been sitting here waiting because the next cutscene is the big one, and I don't want to interrupt this.
So be it. It will be done. Entaro Adun. It will be done. So be it. It will be done.
Oh yeah, this is the final barrier too.
Entaro Adun. I've never seen a creature like this before.
Test subject 29 classified. Protoss Zerg hybrid. Imperfect cryohibernation. Psionic emanations minimal.
No. Magnificent, isn't it? What? Who are you?
I've had many names throughout the millennia, young prodigal. You would know me best as Samir Kuran.
Kerrigan's consort. Is this part of her twisted schemes?
No. Young Kerrigan could not have engineered this grand experiment. Although her rebirth into this Zerg swarm has sped up my progress, I can assure you that this endeavor is quite beyond her narrow understanding.
If you are not her pawn, then what are you?
I am a servant of a far greater power. A power that has slept for countless ages, and is reflected in the creature within that cell.
Have you any conception of what you've created here? Do you have any idea what this hybrid is capable of?
Of course I do. This creature is the completion of a cycle. Its role in the cosmic order was preordained when the stars were young. Behold the culmination of your history.
All I behold is an abomination.
Your violence, young prodigal, is typical, as is your inability to comprehend the greater scheme of things. You can destroy all of the specimens here. It will do you no good. For I have seeded the hybrid on many, many worlds. You will never find them all before they awaken. And when they do, your universe will be changed. Forever.
Oh, absolutely, Dark Day. But he doesn't really have much of a reason to kill him. And this mission was always there, von Falkenstein. So, left with the unsettling knowledge of the hybrid, Zeratul returned to his ship and left the Dark Moon behind. Unable to explain his numbing discovery to his companions, he can only sit in fear for the future of the galaxy. Omega. Arguably the worst mission in the game.
Cerebrit, our scouts have just identified 3 separate fleets approaching this platform, with Duran having disappeared, and the bulk of my brood still on the surface of Char. You'll need to hold off the invaders by yourself.
You sound worried, Kerrigan. Have I caught you at a bad time?
Not at all, Arcturus. How'd you manage to scrape up your new fleet? Been raiding the salvage dumps again?
I called in a few favors, made a few concessions. You'd be surprised to see how many special interest groups in this sector want to see you dead.
I'm sorry to have to disappoint your new friends, Arcturus. But you really shouldn't have attempted this stunt. It'll take more than your 3 little fleets to bring me down.
3 fleets?
Don't play dumb, Arcturus. I've already spotted the other 2 fleets.
Kerrigan, this is Artanis. My brethren and I have come to avenge the deaths of Phoenix, the Matriarch, and all of the other Protoss who fell before the Swarm. It is long past time you paid for your crimes against our people.
When it rains, it pours.
The Protoss, too. Care to take a guess as to who the 3rd fleet is?
No need to guess. It's Dugall and the remainder of the UED fleet.
That is correct, Kerrigan. This is Admiral Dugall. I am giving you one last chance to surrender your forces and submit to the sovereign authority of the United Earth Directorate.
Gee, that's a tough one, Admiral. You'll have to let me think for a minute. You know, Admiral, I think I'll just massacre your remaining troops now and watch you die in agony. How would that be?
You vastly underestimate me, my dear.
I don't think so, Admiral. You see, at this point, I'm pretty much the queen bitch of the universe. And not all of your little soldiers or spaceships will stand in my way again.
So be it.
I don't know. What do you think, Elizar? So, couple things. Not to give this game credit, but one of the things I like about the Queen of Blades' portrayal in Brood War is whenever she's speaking in private, she's always a lot more concerned, a lot more diminished. She actually allows herself to present herself as worried and injured, right? Not just in this mission, but in all of them. Like, oh, God, the last thing I need is this stupid thing. Or, oh, geez, my fleets are getting attacked. All right, we got to go deal with this thing now. But the moment she starts talking to someone else, the mask slaps right into place, and she's all like, "Mwahaha, you cannot possibly stand before me because I am super amazingly invincible." Which makes sense. She's trying to portray that front because she doesn't want anybody to realize the weakened position that she is in. Second of all, I'm actually going to replay this dialogue really quickly because I want you to catch something.
Cerebrit, our scouts have just identified 3 separate fleets approaching this platform, With Duran having disappeared, and
That's it. With Duran having disappeared. There's your one and only bit of acknowledgement about the fact that Duran is gone. From the optional mission. Ow! So let's explain why this mission is the worst mission in the game. First, we're going to do a little cheating. So we start off right in the middle, and that is what we're facing. Just look at it. Just enjoy that nonsense. Look at this. Look at this absolute insanity. That's right, we're facing France! And then we've got multiple Protoss hubs, and it's just, oh my god. Each of these bases is very well defended and designed to... so they have a huge head start. They're at the top of their tech tree. We have this tiny little base, which looks well defended, and that's a goddamn lie. This is actually a really bad position overall for us to start in. And you'll notice we've got one resource node. There are no easy resource nodes to expand into. We pretty much have to carve into someone in order to claim a resource node. So we have very narrow build space and very low expansion capacity. But hang on, it gets worse. Each enemy base is a massive bunker with multiple resource nodes. And, oh yeah, this is also a kill-all mission. And every single one of these is, oh yeah, sure, go ahead and claim this thing, Eleazar. I'm sure that'll work out great for you. Who do you think is going to come after you first? Red or blue? You have to go through both to even get there, by the way. Unless you mean this thing, in which case, yeah, no, that'll be great. That'll definitely be a blue thing. Anyways, so, sorry. So the point I'm trying to reach here is that they are extremely well entrenched, have tons of real estate and tons of resources. Their AI is cranked to max, and they are set to defensive. Not passive, defensive. There's actually a lot of different things, presets that the Starcraft 1 AI had. Sure, Eleazar. So this mission, they are so... No, they don't attack each other at all. I don't know, Sassy Saddles. This is the space thing. It's the only one. It's just, actually, I guess this would be the Dominions, wouldn't it? But I'm getting off topic. The thing that makes this the worst mission in the game isn't its difficulty, because as weird as it may sound, this isn't actually a difficult mission. No, the hardest mission in the game we've already been through. That would be to slay a beast. Omega is the worst goddamn mission in the game. Because in addition to all of the problems I just mentioned, it's kind of luck-based, and it's a kill-all, and every single one of these enemy forces are designed and built and cheating to build up defenses and nothing but. What I mean by that is, let's assume for a moment that you send a full assault force into Protoss and don't actually kill a base. If you don't have another unit of another chunk of fleet already ready to go to fill in the gap, by the time you have rebuilt your forces and attack them again, they will absolutely have already taken that spot. They barely attack you. And that's almost worse. The tiny bits of harassment they send at you aren't even worthy of your time. Not really. The problem here is that so much of this mission is so goddamned boring. It is a colossal slog through each of their forces, and you're always running into the resource draw. You kind of can't lose this mission. It is extraordinarily difficult for the enemy to actually charge into your base and kill you. But it is extremely easy to lose this mission because of some bad luck, or because you simply aren't moving quickly enough. I already talked about this, but one of the most common bits of advice that's given about this mission is, if you haven't won in 30 minutes, start the mission over. How would I redesign it to keep the same vibe without making it a slog? Oh, that's actually a tough question, admittedly. I mean, obviously, In a better engine, we would have more tools, but in StarCraft 1's engine, which there's only so much you can do with StarCraft 1's engine. Okay, hear me out. What if, rather than... Yeah, changing the geography would be nice, but hear me out for a second. Rather than 3 giant bases of death, why not make it so that there's essentially expansion posts, outposts, all over the place, right? So, like, there's a white node up there, and then there's a white node up there, and there's a white node up there. Each of these are kind of micro bases. Well defended, but something you can knock over reasonably speaking, which the AI is set to rebuild. The reason I mention that is because the AI will stop trying to rebuild once everything is knocked out of a spot, right? So if you completely wipe one of the micro bases, they let it go, okay? So you wipe through the micro base, and as a result of taking out a micro base, reinforcements come from Char. And so you're given kind of a benefit of actually knocking over each of these micro missions, micro bases, other than simply pushing through the enemy forces. All of that could be done in StarCraft 1's engine, and I think that's probably my answer to you, Daedalus. What do you think? Because yeah, like there's we can spawn units. Yeah, it also makes it more of a give and take. Because yeah, it rewards you for carving into the enemy bases, and encourages you to kind of pick and choose your battles a little bit more. And of course, it makes sense because Char's right there. And she already mentions the majority of her forces are down on Char, so them kind of slow-moding up to reinforce you makes a degree of sense. No, I did not, Eleazar. Let's see. Where did Eleazar have a question? Eleazar says, why do you suck so badly? The fact that the Queen of Blades won but shouldn't and lose is a story negative. No. Yeah, we're cutting off pretty soon, because I'm just going to cheat. I don't respect this mission enough to do it legitimately. I've done this mission legitimately once. I'm pretty sure I didn't do that for the lore run. I actually don't remember, if I'm being completely honest, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. I guess I can just do this. How is it a plot hole, Eleazar? I am legitimately glad that you derive enjoyment from this mission, without hyperbole. Life sucks too badly as is. We need more enjoyment in it. Yeah, look at that. Pittance attack forces.
The Hive Cluster is under attack. Our forces are under attack.
Actually, new plan. That's what I thought, Oculus. Because I remember the one time I beat this mission legit, and I said, yeah, I'm never doing that again. And so, to date, I have retained that promise. It wasn't a promise, but...
The Hive Cluster is under attack.
Well, make your argument, Eleazar. Why do you think it's negative worthy? I'm willing to listen to you. I mean, yeah, lore runs were cheats by default. Which a lot of people never understood.
Our forces are under attack.
I mean, ironically, yes, we are cheating in a review run, but that's because I'd like to beat this game sometime today. This game has already been a pain in my schedule for too long, and to be totally honest, I just don't care enough to bother right now to beat this mission legit, because I'll tell you exactly what it would take. What it would take is setting up multiple saves towards the beginning part of the mission, and then trying a few things, falling behind because I'm going too slowly, starting over, trying a few different things, failing because I'm falling behind, starting all over, and just kind of repeating that until I finally succeed. I don't particularly find that engaging, and frankly, I don't think you do either.
Our forces are under attack.
Don't worry, there's no cheats in Starcraft 2.
Our forces are under attack.
I don't think I'd call the larva cute, but... drones are cute. Look at him, he's so cute. Squitch, squitch, squitch.
Our forces are under attack.
Well then, you win, Sassy Saddles, because you are looking at failure right now. See? I'm right here.
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
No, that's a good point, Act. Oh, why did you curse me with that? Why did you say that, Act? Do you know what you've unleashed?
Our forces are under attack.
With infinite time, I'd love to finish out all the achievements in StarCraft 2.
Our forces are under attack.
But I don't have infinite time, so we're not going to go for that.
Our forces are under attack.
Well, yeah, StarCraft 2 also has good difficulty design. In fact, it's probably going to be a triple positive territory when we get there.
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
Oh, right, I'm stupid.
Our forces are under attack.
Yeah, too true, Meat Fist. Once you know what you're doing, Brutal is very doable. Although Brutal, what is it?
Our forces are under attack.
I forget which one it is, but it's the one Warfield tells you. Like, when you get to the final mission, Warfield says, you should do this. And if you don't do that, the version of the mission you get is probably the hardest mission in all of StarCraft 2. I don't remember which one it is.
Forces are under attack.
But, okay, so it's if you don't take out the flyers. Man, yeah, that's... That mission on Brutal is
Our
ridiculous.
forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
See, the problem with that, Elizar, is if we're going to give a negative for a time at which someone who is in a weaker position wins against a stronger force, the amount of games we're going to have to give that negative to is not small. Excuse me.
Our forces are under attack.
Like, think about that for a second. Think about how many games where you are in the weaker position and you win, right? Now that's true, Takota, but that's separate. That's its own problem.
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
No, the argument is that she wins based on skill. Pretty much the same reason anybody wins like that. Why did David beat Goliath? Yeah, negative to Star Wars. Just to Star Wars. Although I know some people would be okay with that.
Our forces are under attack.
Having said that, while we sit here and do a little bit of a wrap-up, I think we're going to codify that negative to Artanis. He's just such a nothing-burger character, which is already bad for being kind of like the main Protoss character. But then there's the fact that he's just such an idiot when he shouldn't be.
Our forces are under attack.
So, negative to Artanis. And then... Let's call this consequence storytelling. Ah, I mean, that's true, Theodorus. I mean, sweeping over the enemy can be fun. That's called the Hyper Beam moment. But there's a reason it's called the Hyper Beam moment, not the Hyper Beam game, right? That's true, there is also the Power Fantasy, which is its own thing.
Forces are under attack.
That's a good question. Is there a Hyper Beam game? Can we think of such a thing?
Our forces are under attack.
What did I miss?
Our forces are under attack.
Everything about him in the first mentions is, I have no idea what I'm talking about. That, Eleazar. I suppose idiot might be the wrong word, so I'll just stick with naive. He acts like someone who was just promoted to Praetor yesterday, even though he's actually been a part of the command staff for years at that point, and was also the player character in Starcraft Vanilla. By all accounts, he should be an experienced veteran commander. Not, you know, I don't know what I'm doing.
Our forces are under attack.
So did I mention this is a kill-all?
Our forces are under attack.
Sure, Eleazar. But he shouldn't be. Doesn't make it a good story, it just makes it true. And yeah, we were playing as Celendis too earlier. Is that everything? No, of course not, because this is a kill-all mission. Let's go after these individual turrets. Jesus Christ.
Our forces are under attack.
Oh, I'm gonna cut off the guessing game in like 5 minutes, by the way.
The Hive Cluster is under attack. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
I feel like he's trying to tell me something, but I'm not sure what. What's left? Hang on, there's a supply depot we didn't knock over.
The Hive Cluster is under attack.
Actually, I did know that Pestin slot mark. It's in the manual.
Our forces are under attack.
You know, I don't know, Eleazar, truthfully. But you do. For you are the Overmind.
The Hive Cluster is under attack.
Sure, Spartan, but give me a minute. What are you doing?
Our forces are under attack. The Hive Cluster is under attack.
Kerrigan, I am prepared to offer terms of surrender. It is my wish that you allow my men to...
Our forces are under
You're
attack.
in a position to offer me anything, Admiral. I don't take prisoners. I'll tell you what. Turn your remaining ships around and start heading back towards the Earth.
The Hive Cluster is under
Have a
attack.
head start before I send the swarms after you. It'll be interesting sport to see how far you get before you die.
Our forces are under attack.
Hope you enjoyed that. That's functionally the last we're going to see of the UED in this franchise. With one asterisk that doesn't count after that.
The Hive Cluster is under attack. Our forces are under attack. Forces are under.
Yeah, that's the asterisk. Sassy. Yeah, if you watch the Mutalisk portrait for a minute, their idle animation is the glaive worm going, oh? I mean, that's the theory, Maidfist. We'll see, I suppose. Oh, absolutely, Melkaiser. If you look at a lot of the missions, construction-wise, it's clear that they were taking ideas from this when they came to Warcraft 3 and just ran with them. Same with Starcraft 2, actually. Yeah, that's the Spartans, Lullabloss, that we were just referencing.
Forces are under attack.
There is one last cutscene with Dugal. It's actually the outro cutscene. The outro cinematic. It's a good cinematic, too.
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
Looks like you have more going.
Our forces are under attack.
Correct, Dark Day. Finally. No, at this point I'm scared. I'm not even joking. I'm scared that we're going to get to StarCraft 2 and I'm going to be like, ah, this sucks.
Our forces are.
The last thing I need right now is to play another game with problematic gameplay. I think I've had enough of those for a lifetime at this point.
Our forces are under attack.
I mean, Zaz... I don't know. The last time I asked him to watch something for me, he let my Hydralisk get loose, so I don't know, man. That's a good question. Why would StarCraft 2 suck? Why would XCOM 2 suck? Why would StarCraft 1 suck? Good question. When did we start playing this game? Jesus Christ. This is a 6-day stream.
Our forces are under attack.
It's a long game. And I only started... Remember that this game would probably be about another day and a half if I didn't pull the cheat flag towards the to the end of the Zerg campaign. Because a lot of these missions would take a lot longer. I think there is Melkaiser, but it skips all triggers, which means it skips all cutscenes.
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
Remember, it's a kill-all.
Our forces are under attack.
glorious victory, Kerrigan. For the Protoss will never forget your treachery. We shall be watching you.
Uh-huh. I'm sorry. What was your question, X? I apologize. Yeah, I suppose this is a good time for it. I don't know. Ironically, I don't have a lot going on right now.
The Hive Cluster is under attack.
No, I don't actually know the tune by heart, X, so I don't know what it sounds like. Right, I was finishing up my audit while they destroy everything.
Our forces are under attack.
Who do you think has the best flavor? No, I don't know it, X. I'm sorry. I don't have it in my head, like I said. I don't know what it sounds like. Who do you think has the best flavor of sides? Like the visuals, of the units, the faction, the interface, the buildings, the sound effects. Which ones do you think sounds, looks, and feels the best? Zerg, Terran, or Protoss?
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
No, StarCraft 1.
Our forces are under attack.
We're actually, this is specifically for review purposes.
Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack. Our forces are under attack.
Yeah, the music would be part of this too. The themes of each race.
Our forces are under attack.
Just remember that I'll be out there, waiting for you to slip up. Because sooner or later, you'll make a mistake. And when you do...
I was to say, what are you talking about? Mex makes the effort. So... no, I agree with the silhouetting. So let me ask the direct question before we allow the finale to play here. Oh, by the way, I'm cutting off the guessing game basically now. This is your last chance to get in a guess. Obviously, each race gets at least one positive for... We call it atmosphere, but it's just for the flavor of the race, right? The audio, the visual, the presentation, how the interface looks, how the units look, how the buildings look, their interaction sounds. The flavor, right? This is an already established thing. The question is, do any of the races qualify for 2 positives in StarCraft 1? I don't think any of them qualify for 3. That's the core of the question I was asking. And like I said, I'm going to cut off the guessing game pretty much right now. Good morning, Savacom. Welcome to the ending. I like this cinematic.
Once again, I stand
Oh yeah, noise.
on the bodies of my enemies, victorious, but not unscarred. The Earthborn Directorate has been destroyed, and the Overmind lies dead and trampled beneath the ashes of Char. As for my unlikely allies, I think that I shall allow them a reprieve. For in time I will seek to test their resolve and their strengths. They will all be mine in the end. For I am the Queen of Blades. None shall ever dispute my rule again.
That part of the ending honestly kind of sucked. This part's awesome.
Dearest Helena, by now the news of our defeat has reached the Earth. The creatures we were sent here to tame are untamable, and the colonies we were sent to reclaim have proven to be stronger than we anticipated. Whatever you may hear about what has happened out here, know this: Alexei did not die gloriously in battle. I killed him. My pride killed him. And now my pride has consumed me as well. You will never see me again, Helena. Tell our children that I love them, and that their father died in defense of their future. Over.
Right at the end, you see the Zerg catch up to them. Shortly after de Gaulle's defeat, the remainder of the UED fleet was overtaken by Kerrigan's forces and eradicated. No UED vessel ever made it back to Earth to report what had transpired. With his ragtag fleet beaten and crippled, Arcturus Mengsk fled back to Korhal to lick his wounds and plan the reconstruction of the Terran Dominion. Artanis and Protoss survivors returned to Shakuras to begin rebuilding their once glorious civilization. Zeratul and Raynor went their separate ways, but have not been heard from since their departure. Alone, floating in a dark platform above the burnt-out planet of Char, the Queen of Blades sat and lorded over the ravenous swarms, unable to shake the feeling that a great threat loomed just over the horizon. She could only stare off into the vastness of space where she beheld the great void, or perhaps a reflection of a hollow victory and of trials yet to come. Haired, Ect, all the hair. Same with Mengsk. Listen, chittin' is just my fetish, okay? What can I say? Love those mandibles. Yes, this is the end of Starcraft 1. I think I agree with one positive to each. Let's do a quick thing here. How many of these gameplay negatives are for Brood War? Eight gameplay negatives for Brood War. And you already know the story side of that. 15 story negatives for Brood War. I'm not doing a silver number. I just thought I'd share that little tidbit. Now, how many positives for Brood War? Story-wise... That's actually a good question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 story positives for Brood War. So net negative on story. Gameplay-wise, I'm pretty sure it's a net positive, so give me a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's already a net positive, but I actually missed one. 11. Honestly, it's probably going to hit this Friday or Saturday, Sassy, if you ask me. Halloween's been canceled. That's absolutely goddamn insane, Act. Net positive on gameplay. Net negative on story. I mean, it's either Spider-Man or Wonder, but I very spitefully and selfishly hope that Wonder is outselling Spider-Man. I wasn't keeping track of the numbers, Blagefall. So I hope someone else was, because I wasn't. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Spidey? Ah, that's a shame. Oh well, I'm sure it's a good game. Yeah, so now we've got to wait for about a decade. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I just want Wonder to do better, Poppinix, that's all. Special thanks to Funyuns. Yeah. That's true, we can play FF11 now. Woohoo! How many of you are looking forward to that? Now there's a game which it focuses more on the social experience than the gameplay. Yes, Crazy Norse. FF11 is actually still going, believe it or not. It's even arguably gotten better, although that's debatable, of course. Do you think level design got more... Was it leaning more positive or more negative throughout the whole game? Just guess right now. I should mention that terrain design I list separately for the purposes of this. So if we count terrain, that changes the math, is what I'm trying to say. I know, Oculus. I'm looking forward to that, if nothing else. But the answer is dead neutral. 15 pluses and 15 negatives to level design. If we count terrain, then it leans towards negative. And yeah, there were some really good missions in Brood War. In fact, I would say some of the best missions in the game are in Brood War. If we count pathfinding, then it's even more negative. Which I was not counting pathfinding. Oh, no, actually, Blade Trail. I always kind of put that in its own thing. How do we feel about replayability? I can't believe this is just scrolling. With or without cheats. That's valid. Well, it doesn't get credit for the built-in cheats, for reasons I've already talked about. We actually are not giving that positive. So, you ready for the final gameplay score? +4. Oh, of course, Wandering Doll. By all means, tell me how to find the cheats in this game. Hell, even the zoom, zoom, zoom positive wasn't even there. Yeah, games, it's like the Doom thing. Doom has cheats, but it doesn't get credit for them. Something like Oblivion or Skyrim, they get credit for it because you can open the console and it actually you can guide yourself through it to figure out how it works and what it does just within the game without having to go Google something. Does it, Ghost Rider? Well, never mind. I'll withdraw the statement then. I suppose Empire Strikes Back might be another example of a game that has cheats that it doesn't get credit for. Oh, the newer Dooms. Sorry, I meant Doom. It's the original. Quake, if you prefer. Because I'm pretty sure Quake had similar cheats. I think. I'm not actually sure about that. I shouldn't say that if I'm not sure. So I do know. Five pluses to plot, 3 negatives to plot. Yeah, ain't that a Blizzard game in a nutshell? Can't believe this is still... What is this, a Ubisoft game? Okay. You know, this is just a trend. I'm starting to get suspicious. Like, did you guys do this on purpose? I'm just wondering. You know, I'm not here to judge. I'm not angry. Game. Game. Whoa, game. What the hell? Am I jumpy too? No, I'm fine. The game's just suddenly decided, like, oh god, the credits have been going on so long. Oh, they just finished. Okay. Just... That was very strange, but whatever. Sure. Give me 1 second, please. Plus 42 to story. Plus 4 to gameplay. The trend continues. It's just my life here. That's just what it is. I will admit I'm actually surprised at how well the story held up. Obviously Brood War just kind of several times. My IP is not on the screen. Thank you for pointing that out, but my IP is not on the screen. That's the version number, if you're pointing to the thing in the lower right. Version 1.23.10.11634. Thank you for the heart attack, though. Appreciate it. Being hacked. It's going to be interesting to line up against other RTSs, because we've actually covered a few. That is true, Papanix. We've actually only covered Halo Wars 1, Halo Wars 2, Spellforce 3, Dawn of War 1, Dawn of War 2, Total Warhammer 3, and Homeworld Cataclysm. Plus 42 to story. That is 0.92 pluses per hour, which is about right. But that's at a 76% ratio, which isn't super great. For perspective, that puts it actually pretty high on the story axis for RTS games we've reviewed. Not quite as high as Total Warhammer 3, which got that story score by virtue of being 3 games in 1. So, not counting that kind of a thing, that actually puts it as the highest story scoring game we've given amongst the RTSs. Still, that ratio is not great. I'm not gonna lie. Gameplay-wise... Gameplay-wise, believe it or not, with a score of 4, that still puts it as the 3rd highest gameplay score we've given an RTS. That is a density of 0.09 positives per hour, and a ratio of an absolutely terrible 52.17%. Could I get a drum roll, please? Total Warhammer 3 got a 236. Homeworld Cataclysm, which is our second highest scoring one, got an 83. Below that, we have Halo Wars 2, which got a 48. Dawn of War 2, which got a 32. Dawn of War 1, which got a 26. And then Halo Wars 1, which got a 5. Starcraft 1 gets... $106.35. Meaning it looks like Crazy Norse wins. And is putting it towards Lunar. For the 700,000th time, the story... That's just 2023 in a nutshell. The story carries the overall score further. To give a bit of perspective, if the gameplay was as good as the story, this would be in the high 200s. But 100 is still a very good score, because that's still a very good story. And there is still a lot of decent gameplay here, it's just there's also a lot of bad gameplay. I mean, voice acting and characters carried the story up quite a bit, Blade Javal, because it's a Blizzard game. I don't really feel particularly bad about that. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been StarCraft 1. Next, we're playing a game we can't talk about at all, so we have to talk about nothing but Warcraft 3, okay? That's the rule. I'll see you guys.